picked up an Alabama rig and golly, that's in effect now.
Catch you a big fish on that stuff.
I actually don't ever remember starting to want to be a fisherman. I just thought I was supposed to be one. I grew up fishing. We eat, sleep, fish, talk, fishing. That's just the way of life around here. I've been a lot of places now that I'm a touring professional, but fishing back at home is always the best. Because now I get to fish with the people that I grew up fishing with, the people I got started with. Today I'm fishing with my brother. That's one of my first tournament partners, team tournament partners. So it's good to be home. Good to be home fishing right here where I started.
Bro, that is a fish. I got you. You use the rock. I got him.
My name is Brian Latimer, and this is Freshwaters.
The lake we're fishing today, this is a pretty cool place. I'm gonna tell you, this is on the Savannah River chain. This particular pool or this particular lake is called Lake Russell. What's special about it, this lake was backed up the year that I was born, 1982. So it's a really new fishery. It's not an old lake. Most of our lakes in the country are built in the 50s and 60s and older. This particular lake's built in 1982. I'm an 82 baby, so we just got this special connection going on, of course. It's got largemouth and spotted bass, and we have a native species of fish that resides here too. It's called a Bartram bass. You've got a lot of different elements. You've got main lake that is very, very clear, and that's where the bulk of the spotted bass live. And then you've got creeks and rivers where there's more stained water, where they have a little bit more turbulent conditions, where fish tend to live shallow. That's where most of your largemouth live. So you've got a lot of different elements here where we can kind of practice this whole mindset of freshwaters. You can fish the clear lake and do one thing, and then you can go up in the river and do something totally different and have a different experience. So freshwaters right here in Lake Russell, it's gonna be a lot of fun. You see, this time of year, I got a bunch of rods out on the deck. I'm starting out with 6 rods on the deck. By the time the day's over with, I probably have 10 or more out. There's nothing you can't catch a fish on right now. You got fish that are in the pre-spawn, there's some spawning, there's probably a handful that is finished spawning, but I would say the most are spawning and pre-spawning right now. So basically what we're gonna be doing is, we're fishing like these little rocky points, little rocky turns. That's where spotted bass like to spawn at. Anywhere there's a few rocks or a bottom transition, is basically where you're going to try to target today. And so by bottom transition on this particular lake, it may go from sand to a little bit of clay, or it could go from clay to rock. Anywhere that it changes is where I'm kind of targeting. And if it's around a point or any kind of peninsula or island, that's where spotted bass like to hang out. Traditionally, they like to be in a little bit clearer water, and they like to hang out a little deeper. You don't fish for these sight fishing like you do for largemouth. So I'm just using a bunch of stick baits to start off. You'll be able to catch them on reaction baits too. You can see I've got a jerk bait tied on. That's what we're going to use for reaction baits. I'm also going to use a little swim bait, a jointed swim bait called a baby bull shad. I'm sure you guys know about that. And I'm just using like simple little shaky heads, stick baits, stuff you've already seen before. It's not really an ingenious way to target them, but your approach to how you fish these baits make all the difference in having a successful day or not. Oh, I got him. I know when I know when I got a fish. Dude, he ain't that small, I don't think. Oh no, that's not that small. Oh no, he's not that. Oh, you want to drag, you say, eh? Look at that big old Ned in his mouth. Good Ned, come here. I got you. Oh no, I don't got you. I don't got you at all. Come here, I got you. Let me put my thumb in your mouth. Can you say, big head Ned Fred? That doesn't even make sense, but Ned Head Fred. So this is the spotted bass that I was talking about right here. You can see just the overall anatomy of a spotted bass is a lot different than, let's say, a largemouth. Or somewhat like a smallmouth. You can see that the body is much more narrow. They're fast swimmers. The mouth is much smaller. That's why we like to throw like a lot of smaller baits for them. If you look at them, they have like these little dots under the cheek. That's another way to identify them. You can see they have like these little holes on the lip of them. Almost all spotted bass have those. Another distinguishing characteristic is a lot of times they'll have a little small patch on the tongue. There's a rough spot. Really unique species of fish that they move, migrate, bite differently, and where they live, the habitat they live in is a little different than largemouth. But I think they're underappreciated and just awesome, fun species to fish for. And I'm learning a lot more about them the more I fish too. Because even our fisheries here in South Carolina and Georgia, they're becoming more of a tournament species of fish. When I was younger, you just caught 5 spotted bass just to kind of get the day started. But now they're a legit way to compete in tournaments. So you got to learn how to catch them. So little baits like this, little stick baits, little small 2.5. Little baits like this, little small 2.5-inch stick baits on jig heads, light tackle finesse techniques are typically the easiest way to catch them right now. But you can also catch them, you know, on reaction baits, jerk baits, swim baits, hard swim baits. Top water is great. We're not quite to the time where you can catch them on top water, but it's coming soon. We're right around the corner from being able to catch them on top water. And a lot of the fun stuff. When they get on top water, it gets really fun. Really, really fun. Feisty little fella, eh? Feisty little fella. I'm gonna feisty swing you in the boat too. Dude, he's about 3 foot long. He ain't got much. Oh, Dion, you was able to catch one. He was able to catch one. He wasn't able to catch one. He wasn't able to catch one. I'm the only one who catch one. See, I caught mine. Where you at? We was gonna do a double shot. You messed up the double shot.
See what happened was.
What had happened was, you need to throw this 5-inch. Are you big enough to throw the 5-inch? See, the 5-inch stick bait is the. See, you probably got to throw that little 2.5. This point comes way off of here. Like the boat's still sitting in 9 foot of water. Even though it looks like we're fishing, we're still fishing. Most of your bites are going to come in probably 4 foot or less. I would say 4 foot or less with spotted bass. The water's a little stained here than it'll be in some of the other places. But it's going to be, most of them spawn 6 foot. As shallow as 4 foot, 6, 8 foot. That's where spotted bass like to spawn at. Why they spawn deep like that, I really don't know. But they spawn a lot deeper than largemouth. It can be a little intimidating to know how to actually retrieve these baits. Even the smaller one, the 2.5-inch one, the way I retrieve this one and the way I retrieve the bigger 5-inch stick bait is pretty much the same. This is just a jig head and a plastic. You know, one we call a Ned rig, the other we call a shaky head. I'm going to cast it out. When I make my cast, what I'm trying to do is cast right where I think fish are spawning. So I'm going to cast basically right where I don't see the bottom anymore. I'm not going to cast all the way to the bank, but right where, you know, you see that brown, and it starts to turn to green is basically where I'm going to start to cast. Throw it out, I let it hit the bottom. Remember I said fish are spawning, so you want to keep your bait in the bottom. Bottom contact is absolutely key. So what I'll do is throw it out, let it hit the bottom, and what I'm doing is just letting it hop, just hopping it, keeping that bow on my line fairly tight, watching it when it hits the bottom again, and I just hop it just like that. Reel up the slack, hop it again. It's really simple. If you don't want to, some days hopping it doesn't work as well, and I'll just drag it. I'll just kind of hold my rod tip to the side like that and let the trolling motor just pull the bait along. I may shake it just a little bit, but you got to figure out what's going to be the key retrieve every day. Remember this about a Ned rig or a shaky head. There's really no wrong way to work it. The wrong way is when you're not getting bit. If you're not getting bit, you're working it the wrong way. That's a good bite right there, dude. That's a good one. Oh, he got it. I think that's a little better one.
Sounds like
I do think that's a little bit better one. I do think that's a little better one. That's more like what I catch right here. That's a gooder one. Come here, Nedhead Fred. Nedhead Fred. Nedhead Fred. You know when you're having fun because you start singing. Every time I start catching them, I start making up songs to sing while I catch them. Ned head. You see how he stood up? He likes me. You see how his dorsal fin stood up when I held him? He likes me. Catch. I do need to get at least one solid. I got it. I got it. He's in the brush. He's in the brush. He had it though. He was on there. You see the line up? There he come out. 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 Oh, it's a good one. Oh, don't jump! Don't jump! It's a good one. Dude, he had me tied up in the brush. He had me tied up in the brush. I just sat there and held him and just kept pressure on him. He finally come out. That's a good one. Come in. Oh. Oh boy. I didn't think I was gonna get my hands on him. He went to the boat and then he decided to go ballistic on me. He had me down in the brush. I threw it out there. It was a brush pile. I could feel it. I was just kind of seesawing it back over the limb in the brush pile. I seesaw it, let it go back down. Seesaw, let it go back down. And when it was letting it back down, it goes, doop. And he got bound up in the brush and I just held him there for a minute, held him for a minute. And he finally just freed himself. They do like structure. I mean, they live offshore all year long. Dude, they're such, like, I appreciate this species of fish so much. So much. It's a species of fish that's really kind of starting to take over the lakes here in the Southeast. And for a long time, we complained about it. We say, oh, there's so many spotted bass. They're creating competition with the largemouth. They're ruining our fisheries. But what we have to do is embrace it. They're never going to go away. And it's not a bad thing. You catch way more of them. They do get big. They eat. They're aggressive. They're fun to catch. So fun to catch that I'm about to go right back in there and make me another cast. Did you cast by that pole? Don't get off of my pole. That sucker went back there and tried to catch. That's why you can't bring family to the lake. He went back in there in my brush pile trying to catch. That was my spot for me.
When you start getting your butt wood.
Another one right here.
All right.
You got time to tell him. You ain't got time to tell him, boy. Why you rigging? I'm gonna be up here. Catching them! I'm catching them! I'm catching them! Because I'm good, because I'm good. You better get it rigged up. Oh, that's actually nice.
About to catch a line.
He's nice. He's spinning a bait. He's spinning a bait. Oh. You see the markings on them? It's amazing how different each fish you catch, even though they're all spotted bass, they've all got a little different markings on them. You can see the horizontal and the vertical bars on them real good. And you can see the spots. He has a lot more spots on the bottom of them. Another good indicator that fish are spawning, you see how his dorsal fins are kind of beat up right here? What they do, they get on those rocks and those sandy spots and they just rub their bellies and clean out that spot for where they spawn at. They make a really nice, even little place to spawn, the same place that you would see if you were fishing with largemouth. But with spotted bass, they do it deeper and they do it around rocks, so you can see his dorsal fins are beat up. That means they're spawning. That's a pretty one there. That's a little bit bigger one. That's a 1 3/4, 2 pound spotted bass, which in certain cases, depending on what time of year it is, that's a pretty decent tournament sized fish there. This is the best part about living in this part of the country. You see, this morning we fished pretty much all clear water, 8-10 foot visibility, made about a 6 mile run, and now we got 6 inches of visibility. We can put up all the spinning rods and we can pull out all the power fishing tackle. That's what I love about living around here. You got options. You got 36,000 acres, and it's like several different types of little lakes within this one lake. Boy, now I'll turn this into a video. Don't lose him. Put it in there. Put it. Pow! He threw it in your hand. No, he broke the spinnerbait. Oh, I broke. The freaking blade. The spinnerbait broke. It broke it as soon as I swung him in. Chunky largemouth. Caught him in the laydown right there. They set up in these laydowns right before they get ready to spawn. You can see that's a nice chunky largemouth. But that's what I like about this lake. You got options. We just finished throwing Ned rigs and 10-foot visibility. Then we came up here in the mud. There's only like 6, 8-inch visibility. Throwing spinner baits, chatter baits, flipping some isolated wood.
Right.
Oh, you got him! Oh, you got him! You don't be. He's never catching them. He's always trying to catch them, and he's never catching them. But this is a high percentage area. A little creek turn right here, and it's got some wood on the creek turn. Now that guy jumped out. Got my spinner bait off the wood there. Got it? Oh my God, bro! Holy smokes! Holy God! Don't let it break up. Give me some drag. Give me some drag. Oh, didn't I see you catch bags up here, bro? Oh, that is a freaking giant. I got you. I got you. Use the rock. I got him. Oh God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Holy crap! Holy crap, dude! Oh no, show him that chatter. Show him that chatter bait. Show him the chatter bait. Show him the chatter bait. Oh, look at that dude! Hold up, hold on, hold on. Holy smokes! Oh my God! Oh my God!
Team chatterbait, baby.
You said you wanted to come up here and throw a chatterbait. That's the biggest bass I've seen come out. I'm gonna put my glasses back on and look at him again. Oh my God! Dude, that fish is 6.5 pounds. Every bit of a 6.5 pounder. Got one too. You got a big one? You got a better. Oh, that's a really good one. That's a really good one. Hold on, I'll get him. We'll put this one in the floor, okay? Put that one down. We're gonna tend the big one. Holy crap. Holy crap. Oh, is he doing that much? Is he taking advantage of you? I got you. You just fish. I got him. I got him. Like that right there.
You see that like that right
Like
there?
that right there.
Another chatterbait, baby.
Like that right there. The chatterbait. Wait a minute, I caught a spotted bass. Look.
Did you?
Mine was a spot.
God,
We got
look at that,
doubled up.
baby. We doubled up.
Doubled up. Whose is bigger? Whose is big? I think mine. What? Oh,
Now, which one's a spotted bass again?
this is the spot. I came up here catching spots. Yeah, I think. I'll just go
think
ahead and
yours
throw
might
mine
be
back.
big.
I'll throw mine back. Big it. Big it.
Dude, that's another biggie.
Big. Dude, he jacked it too. Dude, look at that freaking thing. Look at this thing.
Oh, he's pretty. He's pretty. He's pretty.
Oh!
He got that pretty.
Let me lift him. Help me up. I need help. I need help. I need help. I'm trying to. Woo! Look at this spinnerbait. Like that right there. Like that right there. Is that what you're talking about? Like that right there? Holy crap. Dude, I was rolling by them rocks right there. And when you just caught the big one, I was like, oh yeah, it's time to go home. We ready to go home. Golly! Dude, that's why you can't beat this lake. We done caught them on Ned rigs, caught them on spinnerbait, chatterbait, jerkbait, big stick baits, little stick baits.
That's why you
Like that right there.
Boy.
Tell you a little bit about what we got going on right here. You see there's big boulders. You can see them on the bank. Most of the time, whatever you see on the bank structure-wise, is it down under the water deeper too. Whatever you see on the bank, it comes down off there. It's just not rocks on the bank. Those rocks are down here in 7, 8. Even if you look on the graph, I'll see big boulders down there in 10 foot of water. So all we're doing is slow rolling spinnerbait. I'm throwing a double Colorado bladed spinnerbait. He's throwing a chatterbait, rolling it by those rocks. What they do, a lot of the fish, they pre-spawn on these rocks. If you look around, there's really not a lot of bank structure where we are. They'll pre-spawn, they'll spawn, and when they finish spawning, they go to these rocks and they feed on the brim. There's a lot of little crawdads and and little crustaceans that basically go in and out of the little crevices of the boulders, and they're just sitting in those holes waiting on something to swim by. Chatterbaits, spinnerbaits, they jump out of the rocks, they say boo, and here we are to arrest them. It's just a good day to be fishing. It's a good day to be me. It's just a good day to be me. A really good day. I'm guessing most of them are pre-spawn, but you never know. It's just one of those transition areas. Remember at the beginning of the day I told you, I said anywhere there's a transition, you can look down this bank, sand, 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 red clay, rocks. The transition. If it was all rocks all the way down through here, it probably wouldn't be that good. But the fact that there's no rocks, and then there's a bunch of rocks, that's why we're catching fish right here. Transition areas are always, like what did the basketball player from San Antonio used to say? Transition defense. This is transition fishing, is what it is. Transition fishing.
God dang, dude. That's what I'm talking about. Bro, you can see him come out and get it. That's what I'm talking about.
I like how short and steady.
Oh my God. That's what I'm like, bro. I was rolling it by the lay down. Ooh, he come out. Oh man, dude. Hey, fishing a spinnerbait this time, you don't get no better than that. Like that right there.
Like that right there.
Freshwater series part 1 is over. I would say largemouth is still the king of the Savannah River chain. We had a lot of fun today. Spotted bass introduced you to a species you probably never heard of, but the largemouth still is king in this area of the country. As you can see, we got some good ones, pre-spawn, post-spawn. We got a little bit of everything going on. All the baits that we caught our fish on today, you can find at shopcarls.com. Go check it out. The link will be in the description box, guys. Largemouth is king. LMBs, 1, 2, 3s, and 4. We got 4 of them. Slobs. See ya!